Hi everybody, welcome to the first episode of Meals. My name is Sofia Smiley. I am the owner and the lead chef at Meal Me, my local meal prep company where I prepare all healthy and individually packaged meals that are good to stay in your fridge for 5 to 7 days. You don't have to do anything besides reheat them in your microwave or your stovetop or your oven, wherever you feel that you want to reheat them. But at the end of the day, the meals that I make are all healthy. They're all fresh. Some of them are right in front of you here. I just grabbed a couple to show you guys, but basically when you get the meal, it comes with a label that also says the name of the meal, the ingredients, the nutrition facts, the calories, the macros, sodium, sugar, fiber, with reheating instructions and shelf life at the bottom of their meal. So basically what this podcast is going to be about is me sharing a little bit about kind of my life and the life of a small business owner, a female entrepreneur. I'm only 25 years old, so I would love to connect with a lot of young female entrepreneurs, people that might be, nervous, maybe thinking that they don't know how to open their small business, but they have this dream. I was in that exact same position, and I have so much to say about the topic. And within the Meals podcast, I also have another podcast going at the moment called Smiley's Kitchen. And that's a really fun podcast where my husband and I, we basically set up in this kitchen and we prepare whatever we're making for dinner that night. It's more of kind of just like a fun, whatever we're feeling like we want to eat, not necessarily related to my Meal Me food. But we take really awesome videos of us preparing that food. And then we show you guys the product afterwards when we're ready to sit down and eat it. And then it's basically us just kind of sharing conversation and topics that we're always open to requests, recommendations, whatever you guys want us to talk about. So that's going to be a really fun podcast. But while I'm here, I have to say, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, turn the notifications on. I don't know. This is only my second time saying this in my entire life. So I hope I covered all the bases. Did I cover the bases, babe?
Yep.
Got them all. I wanted to keep this initial first podcast for Meals kind of short. I just wanted to dive in a little bit more about who I am, where I come from, what I do, and why I do it. So like I said, my name is Sofia Smiley. A little bit about me, I actually just got married this past October, which is really awesome. October is the best month ever. But me and my husband, we moved into this house right after our wedding. We renovated the whole kitchen, which we are going to give you guys a tour of on our next Smiley's Kitchen podcast. So don't forget to tune into that. We just got a Doberman puppy. She is amazing. Her name is Phoenix. And she's also going to be featured a lot on Smiley's Kitchen. So just a little bit of background of me and my history, my education, where I come from. I went to culinary school and I graduated with a culinary arts degree from Kendall College in the city of Chicago back in 2019. It was probably hands down one of the best experiences of my life. Just all the things that I learned, the hard work. I didn't just do, sitting in a classroom and taking tests and reading books. It was a lot of hands-on experience. I learned from amazing people. I had amazing classmates, and it was just all around an amazing experience for me. And that is where I, got all of my more traditional classical techniques in the food service industry. But at that time, I really had no idea what I wanted to do with my degree. I knew I wanted to cook, but I didn't know if I for sure wanted to be a cook in a kitchen or if I wanted to have my own business or if I wanted to be a private chef. Or there were just so many things that I thought I could do, and I just didn't really nail in on one yet. I just knew that I wanted to cook. And kind of beforehand on that, before I even decided to go to culinary school, I've always loved to cook. I grew up cooking. My family is a big Italian family, so we always had the family parties, and even when it was just my immediate family, all we did all the time was cook. We laughed, we enjoyed a good meal, we were always in the kitchen. My grandparents were huge on cooking when I was younger, so I think I just came from that background where the kitchen was just a main part of the household, and I learned a lot from my parents and my grandparents, and I just love food. I can go on and on. And it's not even just the food that I love. It's what it does to a person and what it does to friends and to family, and, how you could just get together and share a good meal and have a good time with people that you love. So that's me being a little soft. So yeah, I graduated from culinary school. I had to do an internship to graduate culinary school. So I then began my internship at this Italian restaurant in Elmhurst called Pazzi di Pizza. Great place, good Italian food. So I was in the kitchen there for about 3 months, and after I graduated from college, I got the offer from the front of house manager at that restaurant, and he asked me if I wanted to be a front of house manager. And at that point, I had really no idea, like I said, what I wanted to do with my degree. I knew I wanted to be in restaurants at that time, so when I got the offer to be front of house manager, I really thought, this is an opportunity. It was put in front of me for a reason. I might as well take it. I can get into that whole story another time, but I was front of house manager there for, I think it was roughly 3 years. And then it was during the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, where I realized I wasn't really doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't cooking. I wasn't doing what I loved and what I went to school for. And I was kind of ready for that next chapter in my life. I was ready to move on and figure something else out. So it was during that time where I said, let me start my own business, I guess. And you know what? It's kind of funny because it never even really came into my head like that. Like, I'm going to start my own business. I was actually meal prepping for some friends and for myself at the time, because I was also going through a health and fitness journey during that time. So I was meal prepping for myself, some friends, and I was posting it on my socials just for fun, because I like to post about the foods that I make and the dishes, and I think I do a good job. I like to think. So I was posting just to, show what I was doing, and I got a lot of inquiries and people just reaching out to me saying like, hey, are you selling this stuff? Oh my gosh, how much? If you're selling it, I would totally buy from you. So it was kind of a full circle for me at that moment where I was like, should I just take this on and like see what comes of it? And now that I think about it, it was kind of a crazy move. That was so crazy. I mean, I full circle went from having a like full-time great job to basically leaving it, because I did it. I started the business and I was still part-time, or I was still full-time, at the restaurant I was managing at. And then at a certain point, it became like too much because it was starting to do well. I mean, people were ordering from me. I established my business pretty quickly, and a lot of it was word of mouth, which is awesome. And then I ended up leaving the restaurant and doing Meal Me full time, which I am so grateful for. It is absolutely amazing to think of where I was back in, I don't even remember when that was. I think it was 2020. Yeah, it was 2020 when I started Meal Me and was still part-time at the restaurant, to where I am now is, I'm blown away. I still don't even think it hits me to this day how well Meal Me has done, and what it has done for me, and what it's done for other people, and just how amazing my customers have been. And it's all just so very rewarding. All of the things that I've been able to do, and places I've been able to speak at, and people I've been able to influence positively. It's been absolutely amazing. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me and my business. I want to, in this podcast, in the episodes to come, we are going to have, some guests on. We're going to do a lot of Meal Me tasting, which we're actually going to get into in my next episode. I'm going to have my husband actually going to be the first guest that we're going to have on the Meals podcast, which I thought was super fitting, obviously, because he's my husband, and we can introduce him and just bring up the Smiley's Kitchen podcast again once more, so you guys can kind of put a face to the name. And then, as well as having some guests on, we're going to do food tasting, like I said, but I also want to dive into, other people's fitness journey and health journey, and kind of just see where everybody's at. Because what I want to do with this podcast is essentially help people. I want you guys to be able to listen in on other people talking about maybe their difficulties or their struggles to lose weight or to gain weight or to find the right diet for them. And I know that there's going to be people out there that are going to be able to connect and relate to that. And hopefully you guys can get some motivation out of it or some information or whatever it may be. Or maybe you guys are local and you want to start ordering meals because it's going to be super convenient for you guys and the food tastes great and you don't have time on your own to cook for yourself. I mean, Meal Me helps so many different types of people in so many different categories. Everybody's body type is different. There's not one specific person that you need to be to order from Meal Me. You can eat this food guilt-free, no matter what your goal is, and all that stuff. So yeah, I feel like I was going somewhere else and now I'm all the way over here. My mind is like, I feel like I have so many things to say, but I know that, all things aside, in this podcast, I do want to take time to dive into like all the different parts of what it is to be a small business owner, how it was to start up, how it is to be a female in the industry, how it is to customer service, restaurant life. I don't know. I want to talk about literally everything and anything. So please give your feedback. This is kind of a blank canvas right now since this is my first episode. So I'm definitely open to suggestions, recommendations. But overall, I'm extremely excited to have the opportunity to do this. I hope you guys all tune in and get something super awesome out of it. And again, this is Meals. Sophia Smiley signing out.